What is good, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Major Push Wrestling, the talk show where we give wrestling the major push that it deserves. I am not alone today. I am joined again by the returning Dave Sheffler and Oofman. These guys I am lucky enough to have met through the No DQ Galaxy. Shout out to Aaron Rift, shout out to Virtue, shout out to the No DQ Galaxy and family. David is my Florida chapter brother, and Oofman is my Northeast chapter brother. I do claim both of those chapters unofficially, but we're gonna get right into it. We got some good topics for you guys, and whether you're watching live or on demand, we appreciate you. Leave your comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It means the world. So I'm gonna throw it right to Dave. Dave, how are you doing today?
Doing good, Gino. Thanks again for having me on, and glad we have Oofman with us. We get to do predictions together, and we'll have a good time doing this and getting this out to the people to view.
Absolutely. And speaking of predictions, Noah and I at the time of this recording, just ended our live stream doing the predictions breakdown that we call predictions post mortem because we love alliteration and we love statistics. Thank you to Dave and Oofman for being in the chat and riding through with us. It was a lot of fun. If you like wrestling and you like doing predictions and you like seeing how it all breaks down, go check out that video once you're done watching this one, of course. I will also link it at the end of this stream. So, Oofman, thank you so much. Welcome in again. I'm digging the Spider-Man shirt for the official trailer one of Spider-Man Brand New Day. And it's odd because as people who like Spider-Man, we like him when he's depressed and going through a lot of emotional turmoil. And that is how he was left at the last movie at the end. And he is picking it right back up. Oofman, how you doing? And real quick thoughts. Did you like the trailer?
Oh yeah, I freaking loved it. I saw the trailer for the trailer to Tom saying it tomorrow to be today, Wednesday. I saw it during work and I can't, as you can tell, I can't wait for it. So yeah, it's going to be another good one, and this is the one right before the next Avengers one, so it should be good. Like you said, I like this darkness that Spidey's going through. I'm a huge fan of the '90s cartoon, if anybody remembers that. That's where I learned all my Spider-Man facts, and that's where he and Wolverine are my favorite Marvel characters of all time. No one can touch either or. I can't choose one or the other. So I was excited for it, but more excited to talk with you, fine gentlemen, about professional lucha libre tonight.
Absolutely. And if you couldn't tell where Uthman is from, his accent definitely it does not come with a spoiler warning. So we very much appreciate you guys both being here. So we had planned on coming in here talking about something that will be saved for another discussion video. But tonight it feels super important, especially after what we had happen Thursday and Monday, to talk about this. Now, I'm going to start off with something that I feel like you could start and finish with either one of these two topics, but I'm going to start off with most recently Monday night, and then we'll lead into the Thursday topics. So, or I'm still used to SmackDown being on Thursday. It's on Friday. Holy cow!
That's old
Okay,
school.
yeah, UPN style. So speaking of Monday night, we had Roman Reigns and CM Punk face to face again because Roman decided to show up after taking a week off to cry and think about what he's going to say to CM Punk. That's the only reason I can think of why he didn't show up, other than not wanting to travel to the city. Whatever. I get it. He's a full time father. He's going to say whatever he needs to say to defend his lack of appearances and blah blah blah. We're on the road to WrestleMania, and you said it well last night, Dave, on the No DQ review on Tuesday. Was we're gonna run out of material, so you have to take some breaks between it. Okay, I get that, but he comes back. We also said the week before that they should be using their career as fuel to the fire, not like real life stuff like I'm gonna bury you next to your father. He could have said things like I'm gonna bury you next to all the talent, the Sami Zayns, the LA Knights that you buried along the way with your family. It would have been as simple as that. And then we were thinking, well, maybe he brings up Larry. Maybe Roman Reigns comes back with CM Punk's dog, who tragically passed away recently. Um, but he didn't. Instead, he used a way of having to take minimal dates and make top tier money as a top tier talent as a way to take a shot at AJ Lee, who is not on TV every week, even though she might be in the building, not featured on the television, as we saw with the AJ Styles thing. But so he insulted his wife, and the crowd said, "Ooh," they were like, "That's T." Like, for those who don't know, whether you're watching or whether you're on the panel or not, the T is the drama in the situation between people. That's what they say when they say in T. So that was the one that, if you're gonna hit somebody, as we've seen with Will Smith, as we've seen with plenty of other people, you keep the wife's name out your mouth, even though he didn't say the name, but said your wife. And then 7-year difference in age, mind you. And once you get over 40, it's really not that different. Roman Reigns called CM Punk old. And if anything, that should be like what he said about his government name, Phil. It should be a compliment, not an insult. I'm the world heavyweight champion, and I'm older than you, and I'm doing it every week, and I'm doing it better than you. Like, he shouldn't. I don't know if that was planned for him to hit at that moment, or he forgot to hit when he said about the wife. But it made CM Punk look like a little baby back B, a different Triple B than what we have in AEW. So I want to see what you guys think. Is being called old warranting being hit in and of itself, especially when dude referenced your wife a little earlier? Like, I get it, maybe that was building up, but usually you crescendo with the most offensive insult before you hit somebody, and you don't wait and then, oh, okay, well, this one was a lower hanging fruit, might as well punch him. But I'm gonna throw it over to Oofman first. Oofman, like, am I wrong? And they built to it the way they needed to do, or should the wife comment have been the straw that broke the camel's proverbial back? Take it away.
Well, the problem that I see here with, especially with Roman and, well, with the whole build of WrestleMania is twofold. One, and again, I respect Roman, what he said last night. He wants to be a full-time father. As a part-timer, he gets the job done. I all get that. But that's the problem with him not being there every week. I think back to, it feels like WWE is copying last year's build to Mania as well. Cena turned heel. We all our jaws dropped. Gino, I'm sure, cried 1,000 tears. But we were all excited at the same time. But then what happened? It took Cena 2 weeks to show up to give the why. And then he would pop here, pop out there. And the build was not good. Cody had to carry it basically by himself last year. We got to Mania, and there was my reaction at the end of the match. I was like, all right. So one is Roman's schedule. And number two, a big one, which I think is the biggest factor of all, is the timing between the Chamber and WrestleMania. When the Chamber ended, we had 7 weeks from the Chamber. That means 7 Raws and 7 SmackDowns till Mania. We are down to 5. We're down to 4, I believe now. Still too much time in between. So as far as the old comment, and everybody is online mad that, oh, he should have mentioned Larry. Yeah, he should have mentioned Larry, but that's the thing. With so much time to kill in between shows, or PLEs, I should say, they're probably saving it for, I think, maybe the Raw MSG. It's Madison Square Garden, the Mecca. It's headquarters for WWE. Maybe that's where he used it, because what are we going to see? What are we going to go through? Their old bag of tricks, the pull-apart brawl, which they kind of did-ish, not really-ish. They haven't done that yet. Are we going to get a contract signing? Snooze fest. I mean, AEW did their press conference, and hopefully that's the first, last, and only time they do that. Please, WWE, don't do that. Or are we going to do the good old-fashioned tug-of-war with the belt? It did so great for Lesnar and Roman, right? So I think it's those two factors, with the needle being more of there is too much time in between the Chamber and WrestleMania. Get them much closer to each other. Maximum, I say, 5 weeks in between. I mean, I know it's not up to me, but I know they can schedule the events. They control the scheduling. Try to get less time in between so we're not dragging this out. I'm sorry, but the needle now has moved the attention. My attention now is on Cody and Orton for the WWE Championship. It was with Roman and Punk when we began it a couple weeks ago, when they were hitting each other or shooting on each other, whatever we want to call it. But now, after what happened on SmackDown, there's been blood, and it's WrestleMania season. Cody must bleed, I guess, third year in a row. My attention now is on there, where it's like, all right, we know that Punk and Roman are going to be night two main event, but the way that Orton and Cody has now gotten my attention, I'm kind of, if WWE ever sends me that survey thingy that you got in the mail, Gino, I'm gonna be like, hey, why don't you guys switch Cody and Orton to night two? Because that now has gotten my attention. So the needle has shifted, the attention has shifted, but it's those two factors, I think, what it is. One, Roman not being there all the time, and number two, way too much time in between the Chamber and WrestleMania. Because again, you need the guys there, but what they finally got physical. Punk slapped Roman, like you said, when he said old, and that was ridiculous. Yes, like we said, yes, he didn't say AJ's name, but you bring up your wife. When you bring up the family, you go balls to the wall. I mean, let's talk about Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels in '97. When Shawn mentioned the Sunny Days comment, if you know the story, Bret's family, including his wife and kids, were questioning him and his dad as well. What did Bret do? He confronted Shawn Michaels backstage, but that's the code of wrestling. You don't mess with the family. However, in a scripted situation, I'm sure you do. But that, like you said, Gino, when he said your wife, that should have been it. That's my trigger. But now he's like Marty McFly. You call him chicken, and you call CM Punk old, and now nobody calls me old. I sat here going like, oh, really, bro? So that's my thing. Number one, I think Roman's schedule, and number two, the schedule in between the Chamber and WrestleMania. The Larry comment, like I said, say it at me at the Raw at MSG or the Go Home Raw, or just bring, like, he should have fired back with something as equal to the your father comment. And I lost my dad 4 years ago this month. If someone brings up my dad, I would have gone insane as well. But Roman just stood there. And it's like, no,
Right.
bro, you mentioned your dead father. That's a monster no-no. In the Hispanic world, you don't mention, let alone dead father, but a dead relative. But if that were me, he mentioned my father. And in March of all the months when my dad passed away, I'm going ape. But no, Roman stood there. And
Right.
so it's a
You
swing and a miss, I think, for that segment.
Thank you very much, Oofman. Like you said, like you mentioned your family should have been the hit. So now two times family was mentioned, one on each side, and they both just let it happen, which is telling me as a viewer, and if I was one of these toxic fans online, like I can go if I see them in public, I can insult their dead relatives and it's gonna be fine. I mean, some people don't consider dogs part of the family, but if you don't have kids, it's like your children, a pet. So we'll consider it relatives for the sake of the
Oh, yeah,
discussion.
that's all relative. Yeah, it's all equal.
Yeah. And we will get to the Orton Cody stuff in a moment. So thank you so much for letting me know though that that's more interesting to you right now than that because okay, because if he's gonna fire back with something equally as harsh, then you mention Larry, and that leads to the because what purpose does Roman have to mention Larry now? Like he's already under CM Punk's skin. Like he really doesn't have to say anything else. So we'll have to see if it can even be as effective as before. If CM Punk hadn't hit him until any point, and then that's what like. So we'll have to see what there goes. But I do like that idea a lot. I'm gonna
And
throw it over to Dave.
well,
Oh
real
yes,
real
Oakman.
fast. Yeah, just real fast. What Roman, if he wasn't going to use the Larry line, he could have been like, well, at least my father was in my life because we know Punk's relationship with his parents is not too shabby. That's another, that would have been a great comeback if you're not going to use Larry. Like, well, at least my dad was in my life. And it would have been like, oh, snap. And then they could have fought, but no, he just
Right.
stood there.
Or something like, well, I can tell your dad wasn't in your life because he didn't teach you any manners. Like literally anything like that. But maybe that was a line that they didn't agree to cross, kayfabe. I'm sure we'll find out all about it on WWE Unreal season 3 or 4. So stay tuned for the summer for that. Dave's been waiting patiently. Thank you so much, Dave. How do you feel about the CM Punk? His line apparently isn't his wife, apparently isn't talking about all the things else other than that, the career or whatever's. It's being called old by somebody who's basically his age. What do you think, Dave? Is that where he should have drawn the line, or should they maybe have uh, taken it with the wife comment or saved it for a Larry situation like Uthman has mentioned?
Well, Oofman mentioned it right. The wife comment should have done it. All I could say is after Friday, the end of Friday's show, the beginning of Monday's show, what a letdown. They were on such a high, and I'm what I think should have happened is Raw should have got the jump over SmackDown. When he mentioned his dad, he should have stopped him and bloodied Punk. That should have been where the blood came right off the bat. Oh, obviously, Cody does bleed every WrestleMania season, but I know it's been over 30 years since my dad died. I would have dropped the guy on the spot at that point if anybody had mentioned him, even now. So, I that's where it should have happened. He should have stopped Punk like Punk stopped him the week after and then just started to beat the hell out of him at that point, and bloody him because. And the thing is about Larry, I heard something of a room. Who knows if the rumor's true? That they changed this thing from last night. That's why it looked like they didn't know what to say to each other. That it was changed. That supposedly Larry was going to be mentioned, but because it was so brand new, Punk couldn't do it because I heard a story about he still cries every day about that dog. So they may have stopped that at that point. And then on the review Tuesday, AEW could have been mentioned here. This is where he could have said, I'm going to bury you next to Jack Perry and the Bucks and Tony Khan. He could have brought up AEW. That would have been way better than the you're old. You're old ridiculous. That shouldn't have done anything and they're going to have to come up with something and like Oofman said, because of the long time between, and that's why I mentioned it on the review about that they should take a break from CM Punk and Reigns and not do it every single week because I think that's where there's too much time in between. And take the time now to build Oba and Brock because we know Brock's going to be there every week. And this is where they're going to build that story. And it was mentioned last night. I'm almost as much excited for that match than any other match at this point as Brock and Oba. So hopefully they can come up with something to do better than what they did last night, because it's gone down each week of the 3 weeks that they've gone against each other, other than a punch by Jimmy and a punch by Punk. That's it.
Thank you very much, Dave. And before we get to our main event topic, I just want to say Oofman was right there with me. Everybody was talking, oh, Gunther should beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Oofman and I were like, no, very clearly that's a SummerSlam retirement. You don't do two matches where Gunther loses, no. And then he's got to beat him. No, 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 no. Or he wins and then he got to win again. It's not the AJ situation. No, this is very clearly on the biggest stage in the most the entertainment capital of the world. You have your brightest, biggest, most physically imposing superstar face off with the true baddest man on the planet, and you put him over in spectacular fashion, similar to how we grew up in the Attitude Era and how you put somebody else over to help build stars. The reason why there were so many stars, and it seemed like in the Attitude Era, and people say that roster was better than today's roster, it wasn't by any stretch of the imagination. It had better characters, but they gave these characters the opportunity to have championships and show us that they are meaningful. Even Mankind Mick Foley, he should have been nothing, but he was able to get put over by The Rock with Stone Cold's help. Like, I don't think they need to do all of that for Oba. It should just be very clear cut. Like, I'm better than you. I think there's going to be some stuff where Brock gets one over on him beforehand, because I can't see Brock just letting you put your foot on his chest and then wait 5 weeks for the match. Like, something's going to happen, but this is the time where we've talked ad nauseum about needing to build new stars. I don't know how old Elba Femi is, but I'm pretty sure he's not super young. But you strap the rocket to him and do not look back. Can Brock Lesnar take a loss and not have it affect him? 100%. We saw it with Cena. When Brock beat Cena, he squashed him. And Cena was still the biggest draw while Brock was gone, right? So I would even say you have Oba Suplex City, Brock Lesnar, and Oba his new move should be the F5. He should be taking the F5 from Brock Lesnar type of thing. Like that would be fantastic. So we'll have to see, and we're going to talk more about that as the story builds. But I just wanted to let everybody out there know Oofman and I were way ahead of the curve on this one until WWE Unreal comes out and they say, well, we've been planning this since 2023 or whatever. Baloney. We know that they're adjusting this stuff on the fly. But
I'm right there with you, Gino. I'm right there with you because I know what Virtue kept saying about Gunther, don't put Gunther. I was not putting Gunther down in the review Tuesday. I was saying that this is the match now. Gunther's still good, and he's still a real good wrestler, but I think this is the draw for WrestleMania.
100%. Even though Gunther beat my boy, my childhood hero, before R-Truth was even saying it, he's been gone. They don't really know what to do with him. If he doesn't have a career to kill, what does he do? He hasn't even been on television the past couple of weeks. And we're dragging things out and we're missing star power. Bring Gunther out, but they don't know what to do with him except for making him go 10, 15 minutes with guys who are tag team wrestlers. Okay.
Oba's 27, by the way.
He's 27. That's not even close to his prime yet. Wonderful.
Plenty of years.
Wonderful. Literally, the other main event has somebody 20 years older than him. So, yeah, you could run with it. He should be the next Streak, the next Undertaker style. He should be wrestling at every WrestleMania. He should, honestly, if he's on my roster, I hate this whole, you got to humble them. You got to give him a loss. How'd that work out for Braun Breaker? It didn't work out for Braun Breaker. Yes, he's hurt right now, but he has been the opposite of a badass ever since they felt the need to humble him and have him lose to, what was it, Jey Uso, I believe he lost the Intercontinental title to.
Yeah.
So bunch of baloney. Two of their biggest guys get humbled by somebody who, honestly, I'm not going to hate on Jey Uso right now because I'm getting off topic. But I want to talk about the SmackDown finish. We've been wanting Cody Rhodes to turn heel, be Homelander with the championship, not be a chaser heel. He has the championship, and he's gonna wield that power corruptly. He's going to take people out, bury them, do all this stuff, and it's all fantasy booking, of course. But if you're going to turn somebody heel, which we all suspected somebody was turning heel out of the four of these guys, you can't have two. I mean, you can, but theoretically and traditionally, you have a heel and a face. And that's what builds up the most drama. And I want to ask you guys if they made the right choice. Was Randy the right choice? I knew something was off. I don't watch it live all the time, and I got spoiled that Randy turned heel. But when I saw him in the show earlier with his blue and yellow shirt, and then when we saw him coming out for the contract signing and he switched his clothing to a black and white shirt, which again is something that Roman had when he turned heel, like I was like, the writing's on the wall. So sometimes being spoiled about something enhances your enjoyment of it because you know it's coming and you see all the signs that you might have missed if you were just watching it for reg. But the crowd clearly was behind Orton there, even when he did that heinous chair shot, which to me, obviously I know it's a work, but if I'm Cody Rhodes, like my ears are still ringing to this day from that chair shot. Like he's already got he's going to be deaf by the time I don't know what's going to happen. But Cody likes to bleed. You could all this stuff, whatever. I think Cody should be heel as the champion. Otherwise, the heelness doesn't really work. Did they make the right choice turning Randy heel? Do we think that the crowd is going to get behind a heel Randy Orton or start rooting again for Cody Rhodes? Because it seems like they've been dwindling a little bit. So I'm going to throw it right over to Dave now. Dave, just your quick thoughts on how they went about the turn, but also because Jelly Roll was involved to really hammer home that he's a bad guy. They pushed Jelly Roll to the ground. Was Randy the right choice to turn? Yeah, we know he's the Viper. Yeah, we know he's the Legend Killer. Yeah, we know he's got that side in him, and we haven't seen that side in Cody. But Nobody really wants to boo a 14-time world champion who we know is in the twilight of his career. Dave, what do you think?
Oh my God, it was a great segment. I'm not gonna say it wasn't. It was really well put together. And I didn't notice the blue shirt because I think I missed the beginning of the show, but I saw something afterwards about that, and I thought, well, I guess the black shirt would have told you exactly what was going to go down. I think they made the wrong choice. I think, well, not only you said about the that he's nearing the end of his career, but if you look back to when he hurt his back neck and they didn't know if he was coming back, they should have never turned him heel after all that. And the guy was still on. Oh, he was so over, it wasn't funny. He was over more than any of the other, even more than Cody at this point. And I really think, and you heard it, and Aaron gave a great review that night. You heard the boos for Cody. And when Randy was beating him down, you heard Randy, Randy, Randy. There is no way this guy's going to get booed. And even with like Seth Rollins, when he went with the Vision, people are still singing his song. I don't think there's a way that they can, unless something really crazy happens, maybe behind this phone call the other night, if there is something behind it, that could possibly sway it, but this was the time to turn Cody. It's been getting a little older, and I think this was the time. And we keep talking about it, and we keep harping on it. And Aaron and Nogi DQ says it's probably never going to happen, and it's like The Rock showing up. We don't know what's going to go on, but they made the mistake with Cena when he should have gone heel years ago, and they kept him corporate corporate to the point good guy. They're doing the same with Cody. Don't make the same mistake. This that could be gold if he turns heel. It could be pure gold and they could have kept Randy as a good guy in this feud because we've seen heel Orton against good guy Cody before. It should have been the opposite here. It should have been.
Great point. Great point. And I completely agree with that for sure. But Cody did say something on his recent episode of CVV where he was like, "Well, if you're booing me already, am I already not the heel?" Like type of situation. So I get that line of thinking, but that's the same line of thinking that they had with Cena, right? Like, and in the effort of time, I'm not gonna touch on all of that, but he could have easily been like, "You guys want to boo me? Fine." Drew screwed himself, right? I didn't screw Drew. Aldis didn't screw Drew. Brett screwed Brett. Drew screwed Drew by messing with me. I don't care about stupid contracts. I don't care about all this. I'm the QB1. I'm going to take the ball. I don't give a crap what you guys think. Like, that could have all worked. Now, Oofman, I want to know, is this the right decision to turn Randy over Cody if you're going to turn somebody, or is the decision to maybe not turn either of them and then maybe do like a double turn or a turn situation? Maybe they're setting up a double turn at Mania. Who knows? What do you think?
No, the rare time I disagree with David will be now because this had to be Orton. And Dave, you hit the nail on the head. It's the corporate thing. And like you said, Cody is the new Cena. He's the corporate face of a corporate organization. Who is that baby face that's going to take his spot if Cody does turn heel? And again, yes, I would like to see Cody turn heel, but if you turn Cody heel, who's going to be that corporate face? There is nobody. Would it be Randy Orton? No, I don't think Randy would do that kind of stuff. So I go again, call me the hitman mark, but whatever. Let's go back to 97 when Brett turned heel. He's like, "All right, I'm going to be the top heel in the world." But then guess what happened? They turned Shawn heel as well, and Brett was like, "I'm in like my career's in jeopardy or in limbo. Like I was the number one baby face. I took that position away. They took that position away from Brett to be the number one bad guy, and then they put Shawn Michaels the number one bad guy. So if Cody was going to turn heel, all right, cool. The fans would have loved it, but then who would have been that baby face to save us, quote unquote, save us from this monster heel Cody? So it had to be Orton because Cody is, like you said, David, that corporate face, literal face of a corporate company. And unless you have a baby face like Brett had with Austin back in the day, there's no one I can think of that the company be like, yes, we're going to push this guy to the moon as the new corporate face of the company. They don't have it, neither on Raw or SmackDown. People are like Roman Reigns. Well, Roman's on a, like we said earlier, he's on a part-time schedule.
Hmm.
CM Punk, CM Punk's not. He calls himself a not corporate guy, so
No, he's
it
not.
can't be
Yeah.
him. So it is Cody right now. It's been Cody probably since he came back to WWE. He's been that corporate face. Now that Cena is officially gone, it is now officially Cody Rhodes. So who is that backup that you have going like, all right, we turn Cody heel. This guy is going to be the new corporate face of WWE, TKO, whatever you want to call it. They have nobody. So until they are for sure to put their chips on someone to be that corporate face, unfortunately, we all have to suffer with Cody still being that babyface champion. And after Friday, and regardless of who was on the phone, as of right now, if we're making predictions, I would say Cody's retaining at WrestleMania. But that's just right now, today's date. Again, we still have a couple weeks till Mania, but with everything that's been going on, Cody has to win. He's gonna do the got to end Mania happy both nights. Smile on people's faces. That's what WWE does. So, unfortunately, yeah, we're gonna have to still suffer with babyface Cody for a while.
Sure. I know that night one last year ended with the Heyman turn, which, you can send people home happy while still having a heel go over and
Yeah,
things
there are
like
different
that.
ways. Yes, yes, yes.
Right, right. And we know Vince, like that was his whole motto. Like at the end of the day, give the fans what they want. Sometimes they don't know what they want, which is kind of counteractive.
And there's always WrestleMania 2000. I don't know what happened there.
Well, they shouldn't have, for starters, they shouldn't have called it WrestleMania 2000. They should
Oh
have
yeah,
given it the number that it
16.
actually was. But I digress. So, in the effort of time here, I just wanted to touch on real quick that, you're absolutely right. They really don't have somebody else in the wings that can do the press junkets, that can do the podcast, that can do all this stuff because all of their best players are basically heels. Like, I could see Trick Williams becoming that, but like
Not
he's
yet.
always going to work better as a heel for me. Like, unless they can, if they had pulled the trigger on Logan and turned him face to stick up for CM Punk back then, like maybe because he's got that mainstream appeal. But as far as somebody who's first in, last out, gonna do everything, gonna get on the bus, as it were, go to the next thing,
Literally,
be
yeah.
everywhere. Like there's really only Cody. And like again, everybody else isn't really a face of the company kind of guy. And I don't even know if that's WWE's fault for not building people up that way. It could just be the way it is. Like, well, so we'll have to see how that plays out. We'll see who ends up winning. You said that you think that Orton potentially loses as of right now.
As of now,
Uh,
as of now.
right, Dave. What do you think? Who do you think's winning the match as of right now?
Well, me and Oofman are good friends. We're going to we can agree to disagree at times. I
Hmm.
think Orton may win because the mentioning of 15. It's been mentioned when you keep mentioning certain things, things happen. But I think it could be just a short reign where Cody has to chase again because it wouldn't hurt to turn the title over a couple times, like they've started to do with Drew and with him. That maybe or that Cody comes back at SummerSlam and gets it back. But I kind of think Orton hasn't really had much WrestleMania moments. He's only had two other prior main events in his career in all these years. I think you may see him go over it. I think, and that could depend on the reaction that Orton keeps getting. If he keeps getting the good reactions, you may see Orton go over at Mania. I know they have the movie out there and everything, and that was a talk about him and Reigns both winning their matches. But I kind of think that you're going to have to, and like you said, Gino, you can have a heel win and still have people go home happy, especially if it's a guy like Orton.
100%. And there's a lot to think about as the predictions come up. As we get closer to that time period. So I look forward to seeing where we finalize that. For me, I think that it's definitely Roman. I don't see Punk coming out of Mania with the title at all. That's why I'm not asking because I feel like we all think it's going to be Roman, but it could go either way with Cody and Randy right now. I think that whoever has the title coming out of Mania potentially will hold it till SummerSlam. And either way, I think that, I mean, we'll talk about it in another video, but to not to spoil anything, but I think Femi and Trick Williams both need to leave SummerSlam with the respective world titles. And I will go into how we
Mhm.
will get there later on. So we don't have a lot of time left. Oofman, where can the people find you real quick?
You can find me on YouTube, Oofman Entertainment. Check out my lifts there. Speaking of Mania, I ranted on that. That was my latest video, so check that one out. And again, the problem is put the Chamber and Mania a little bit closer, so I don't think us fans would be frustrated as I think some of us are right now. I know I am.
Absolutely. And I know that people are talking about, oh, March Madness, this, that, and the other thing. But like they are booking these things. They have no problem throwing a Saturday night's main event in the 1 week prior to Royal Rumble. So you mean to tell me you couldn't fit one of those in between whatever, but it would have buried the lead for Mania. I appreciate that for sure. There's definitely too much time, as I said in a previous video with Dave, I believe. So go check that out. It'll be linked at the end. Dave, where can the people find you?
I'm on Facebook, and that's pretty much I'll be just commenting. I don't post a lot other than my beautiful grandson and my beautiful son and daughter-in-law. But everybody give a thumbs up to Gino's videos. Also, Oofman, they both are good guys. They both deserve your love, and they put out some good stuff. And I'm glad to be on with you again, Gino.
Thank you so much. And yeah, Oofman and I will be gabbing about the Power Rangers reboot from a few years back in one of his next gabbing with Oof videos in the series. And we'll probably be talking a lot of Marvel as we get close to Spider-Man and Avengers Doomsday towards the end of the year. So from Oofman, from Dave, I'm Papa Gino Nachef. This has been Major Push Wrestling. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.